And we had a concentration camp of Jews about 1,000 yards from our camp all those years, which we learned later had come out from Auschwitz instead of going to gas chambers, you see. So we worked alongside, so we knew all about that. But we were also getting regular Red Cross parcels right through 1942, 43, and we were building up like fighting cocks, you see. So if you took out a bar of chocolate from your Red Cross parcel, you could get a dozen eggs. Now the German egg ration was 2 eggs a week, but through the Polish black market, and I'll explain this, you were counted off into working by 20 men, and a guard marched you into the refinery, which was itself a prison camp. I mean, guards on all the gates and all this. And then different foremen or managers from different firms who were building this oil refinery would come out and pick their men, 2, 3, 5, 10, whatever. And so the guard would leave you there, and then you couldn't get out, and so you just worked amongst the civilians. So chocolate, cigarettes, stuff like that, you could buy a dozen eggs, you could buy flour. So in order to get in eggs, you got an old sock or made a sheath. You dropped an egg in, you put a bit of Red Cross string round, dropped another one in Red Cross string, dropped it down inside you and pulled it up in here, you see, in your groin. So everybody walked back bow-legged. Now the trouble was that if 2 or 3 blokes on a 20-man working party got a dozen eggs each, you couldn't get them in. So, as I say, I could speak a fair bit of German, which old Macpherson had taught me, and so I worked virtually as an interpreter between the guard and the blokes. So I was always in the back 3. So we had to have a rota. And I'd say, right, Angus McClarty, you don't get eggs today, because he was a blooming nuisance out of the Black Watch. He went, what's the matter with you? And I said, no, it's not your turn. I said, your turn will be tomorrow. Oh, you know. So a bloke could get a dozen eggs. So 6 of you'd have 2 of it, or 5 of you'd have 2 of eggs each, and he'd have the other 2. And you'd get them into the camp. And when they searched you, you stood with your legs straddled and your arms out, and they went from the bottom up. All this, that and the other. You weren't allowed to take written literature out with you, or bring any in case you were spies, you know, German mentality. And when they got up here, they often went, whoops, and I bet they thought we were he-men, you know, when they ate these couple of eggs, you see. And so they never learned, because instead of searching 20 men and then sending them all in as 20 men, they search the first 3 and they say, up march off, the next 3, march off. So, OK, so you've got a dozen eggs in, you know, sort of thing. And this day we're coming back, and McClarty is gradually coming back through the ranks, real mad, hard man he was. And he's gradually coming back through until he's one in front of me. And I said, what's the matter, Angus? He said, I've got an egg. What? I've got an egg. And I said, where you got it? He said, in my horn. And I said, you better throw it away. I'm not throwing that egg away, he said. I said, throw the bloody thing away, Angus. I said, you'll get us all hung. We'll lose the lot. So he said, I'm near going to throw it away. So we carried on and we get in there. Of course, he's in the last 3 with me now. So he searches old matey there, and he said, 4 varts forward, and he goes a couple of paces. So he starts to Angus. Now Angus, being Angus, he got a load of letters from home and stuff in his top pocket, which is forbidden. Hey, what's Hamzy here and Natasha? What have you got here in your pocket? What's Hamzy here and Natasha? And old matey, the old Germans used to swell up, you know. And I said, for Christ's sake, what have you got in your pocket, Angus? And he still stood there. And I said, oh, ja, vielleicht hat ein paar Briefe von zu Hause. Perhaps he's got a few letters from home. Halt die Fresse. Shut your snout, see? Shut your forager. Like shut your cake hole, they used to say. Halt die Fresse. I said, ich bin Don. He said, I don't care who you are. I said, I'm an interpreter. I don't care who you are. You shut your mouth, you see. Now, the Sergeant Major of the Guard, who was a regular Army Wehrmacht Sergeant Major, and a gentleman he was, he used to say to us, you act like soldiers, I'll treat you like soldiers. You act like gypsies, you'll get treated like gypsies, you see. And I could see him standing there looking at all this. And old mate there he shut your mouth. And he give old Angus a whack side here, and a bloody egg came out all over him. And I'm not kidding, that was the most terrified I've ever been, even in the bombing. Because I thought he was going to shoot us out of hand, you know. And he had all his eggs all running up him. And I was too frightened to say anything. I really was. I thought, Christ, we've had it now. Because I got involved in this, and Angus just sort of went, it's an egg. and the collar bar was leaning on the guardroom door, and he was going. And he started to walk towards us, and he said, Posten, wegtreten, sentry, fall out. Die zwei Leute abmarsch, schnell. You two people, march off quick. And quick we did. We went straight through that gate like a rocket, that a little wicket gate, yeah. Yeah, and that was the most frightened thing I ever was in a prison camp, because they could have shot us out of hand, yeah. I mean, it was an assault on